Imagine jetpack joyrides, but like Messi versus Ronaldo type shit, right? And Ronaldo's just flying around with a jetpack and he's kicking the...
Okay, hello everyone. I'm kidding. Yo, I forgot the kick. I actually have to loop.
Welcome.
Hello. Let's get straight into it. Camera's on, audio is recording. I hope everyone is having a lovely, well, depending on what day you're in right now. For me, it's a Wednesday, so I hope you're having a good weekday. Unfortunately, I don't have a professional podcast studio yet, but what I do have is creativity and amazing weather today. It truly boosts my mood. This is something I've discovered, the last couple of weeks. And I know it's a common thing to boost your energy and it's just healthy for you, but I've genuinely just started feeling way better with better weather, right? So whenever the weather gets like this again in Belgium, especially with how fluctuating everything here is, it's perfect. It makes me super happy, and it also makes me want to change my setup a little bit. In episode 1, I was seated differently, the lighting was different. I closed all my blinds so I can have like my artificial lighting do the job. But it's too good to not use today. So yeah, again, hope everyone's doing good. After episode 1, I discovered how quickly my throat just gets dry from talking. Like after 20 minutes, I realized. So today we have a little bit of honey tea with lemon. So cool, so special. Let me take a sip. Oh yeah. Super nice. Okay, so today I found another topic I wanted to talk about. It's nothing new. It's nothing crazy. It's something I've shared my opinion about quite a lot so far, which is the current state of Loopstation, looping in general, a bit of the history of second devices and my opinion on them, the cables, and how everything kind of progressed throughout the years, how my opinion has changed over the years, right? So, yeah, without further ado, why did I get this idea all of a sudden? I was in the gym with my little brother. I was reading some comments, as I usually do. And one comment on my GBB judging video that I released yesterday, I think, kind of sparked this interest. It wasn't a hate comment, it wasn't a mean comment, it was just a jokey comment. But this joke has been seriously said by a lot of people in the live streams, in some other comment sections, right? So I did want to kind of talk about it. The comment was a joke about me glazing Tioneb and questioning all the other wildcards, and I kind of want to, not defend myself, because I'm solid in my own opinion. It's not to defend myself, but I do want to talk about it, because I think it's very interesting. And as I've said before, I think it could also be very interesting to talk about with other loopers, with non-loopers as well, right? I'm always so curious what other beatboxers think about looping nowadays, because I'm aware a lot of the solo guys don't even care about looping, right? A lot of them. Some of them do, some of them really appreciate it still and enjoy it. But a lot of guys that I know, just people in general, just don't really care about the other categories sometimes, right? Which I find a bit of a shame, because when I look at solo, I get really excited as well, and I want to talk to the solo guys, and I want to, it's a weird dynamic. A lot of solo beatboxers look at looping as whatever, right? So I think it's very interesting. I want to talk with people about it. But yes, probably the reason why solo beatboxers and other types of beatboxers and artists don't look at looping with too much love anymore is definitely because of the progression of it, right? Or the degression, if that's even a word, right? The devolution of looping. I've looked at looping like this for a couple of years now. How looping, I don't know if I think it's evolving, right? I think it's kind of devolving from what it used to be and what it quote unquote should be. In 2016 and 17-ish, I started watching Loopstation battles. I remember following the releases of the 2017 Loopstation battles, like Pancake Torsen released on YouTube. Like it was out for one day, and I was watching it already, right? But I was a lot younger, so this was an exciting time. I used to watch all of these battles in school, right? Every day in school at the same time. I would go on the school computers to watch the new Loopstation battles through the like computer audio, right? So it's super shit. Everything sounds bad, but I'm still super hyped, right? So everything's releasing, and I remember how everything felt back then, right? Everything was still so organic and new, and Torsen came up with new techniques. Pancakes had a very distinct style. Saro dominated the whole competition with his voice, right? Genuinely just his voice and singing and beatboxing over it and just creative little tricks. Tioneb dominated as well with his voice, right? Got to the final for a reason. I can endlessly talk about this. It was such a hype time. Now, I look at these battles, like back at these battles, and I think to myself, wow, most of this I don't want to re-listen because some of it just wasn't great. 2017 is still kind of an exception because MB14 sounded great, Saro sounded great, TuneUp sounded great, even Robin sounded great, right? But yeah, there's a lot of music nowadays in looping that I would rather listen to than so many years ago. And then 2018 came around, still no second devices. I don't know who originated it. I would assume it was Inky who like kind of innovated at the time with multiple devices and experimentation, which is a very good thing, right? If we don't experiment, if we don't take risks with our art, you know, that's why everything changed so much. There was a second device, and then there was a launchpad, and now people are finding new ways to exploit it. And I think in general that's a good thing. It's pushing yourself, it's pushing your instruments, right? But there's something about looping nowadays that's missing. Am I recording? Let me double check, yeah? Fuck. I'm always so scared that I'm not recording, because then I'd have been yapping for like 10 minutes, and then, yeah, the organicness of this podcast would be gone, you know, which I do want to keep a little bit, just yapping and keeping the organicness. So yeah, it's recording. It's recording. Worst case, we would have still had the audio and no video, and I would have probably put text on screen, but yeah. In 2018, 19-ish, second devices started becoming popular. And a lot of people were super skeptical about this, and I think with all fair reason to be skeptical about something so extreme all of a sudden, right? Even me, I found it such a weird change, because let's look at 2019 is a good example, but 21 was a bit more extreme even, right? Okay, let me turn this music a bit down. 2021 was a bit more extreme, even for me, because you had kickback that happened in 21 as well, and maybe, 10 people in the whole world had the MK2 Loopstation, which is fair. They're testing their product, you know, some people get special rewards, people who won the kickback thing and got to use the MK2. That's all fair. But then it got kind of weird when the MK2 was allowed in GBB, when the device itself wasn't even released yet to the public, right? So you had Rhythmind. Was Rhythmind the only one with an MK2 in this competition? Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Rhythmind was the only one in the top 8 who had an MK2. And the one he had to battle in that battle, Brez, obviously stated that in their battle. Using the MK2 when it's not even released yet or something, how fair is this? First of all, I want to say, I don't agree with Brez complaining during a battle, because that, for me, that would be kind of minus points, right? I don't respect that, because it comes over as very whiny, and yeah, that's it. Like, during a battle, it kind of affects the mood a little bit. And maybe he sees this now as well, but yeah, since we're talking about it, I just wanted to put it out there. I didn't like it. Like, hearing that, it dampened my mood of the whole battle a little bit. But do I agree with him? Yes, 100%. Like, it's not like he was wrong, right? I just didn't like the way he approached it. It's very weird that the MK2 was allowed in a GBB looping battle, since no one had access to the loop yet, right? And I think the reason why this was accepted a bit more was with the rise of second devices as well. Because Loopstation in this year was so loose as a concept that it was still, loose. It was fluent. It was like, okay, second devices, whatever. We'll check which ones you can use specifically. Like, use the SY, use the Helix. Okay, we're banning the Zoya. Whatever else there was. Like maybe the Chaos Pad, like Enemy used in 2019. And then they kind of picked what was okay enough and then what wasn't, right? But this creates a weird dynamic in looping. Something that I've said for years and I still stand by is if you have a competition in a certain sport, in a certain category, in a certain musical field like us, which is also weird, by the way, we're competing with music. I don't know. It's weird. It's still a weird concept, right? Even after, 10 years, it's still a weird concept. No matter for that, for a moment, but if you compete in something, I think there should be an even playing field. And what takes away the even playing field? The MK2. The Helix, the SY, all the other second devices you can imagine, it kind of took away that even playing field that should be in a competition, right? Even like starting in 2019, the reason why everything was so controversial with Inky back then is because, well, I mean, it's fair that it was controversial. All of a sudden, we went from beatbox looping to basically complete production in looping, and it was so nice, right? Inky had some of the best rounds that competition. But still, in perspective of a competition, it's super strange. Haha, Inky joke. That it was able to happen like this. And that's why it was super weird in 2021. There were a lot of sound issues as well, and most of those sound issues came from second device people, right? From what I remember. I remember MH had issues, Frosty probably had the least issues because he got through and to the final, but Dice had a lot of issues. A lot of second device people had issues, like Sin, right? Sin as well. It was a strange time to be alive in the Loopstation competition scene. So yeah, what I was saying, the even playing ground is completely gone. 2021 had no playing ground. It was just like, whatever happens, right? Oh, music. Oh, cool drops, right? Party, festival vibe, Poland. It was a weird time. It was a very weird time for the loopers. When we then compare it to something like solo beatbox, what do we have in solo? We have our individual beatbox. That's it. There's no devices. There's no pedals for reverb or delay. There's no nothing. There's just the microphone and the beatboxer. And again, in 2021, there were some weird things with the sound for solo. There were some hiccups. But at the end of the day, what is a solo battle? It's one guy and his beatbox and a microphone, and then another guy with his beatbox and the same microphone, right? Or like a different microphone, but it's still the same brand. It should be. It's an even playing ground. You have your own time to develop your beats, your style, your clarity. You can practice on the mic at home. Like, you have all these things you can do, and everything is still an even playing ground. Like, at the end of the day, it depends what the artist made. It depends how well he practiced in his free time, how well he mic practiced in his free time. And in loop, that has been gone for a long time, right? MK, like, let's say from the beginning as well, right? Because the MK1, it still has a lot of effects, but at the end of the day, it was the MK1. That was it. We were all on the same patch. We were all using the same cables, the same device, the same rules. And since 2019, for me, it went downhill in that regard, right? I still enjoy so much cool shit that is coming out from certain loopers nowadays, right? But yeah, there's been a trend of looping is completely disappearing in looping, which is a crazy thing to say, right? And sometimes it feels like I'm the only one. Nah, I say that, but I'm overreacting a little bit. There's still plenty of people who think the same. Some friends of mine, some people online, some comment sections. There's still a lot of people who think that. Never mind. Forget what I said. I don't feel like the only one. There's still a lot of people. Okay, for the people only listening right now, listen. Yo, this is really good. I'm not gonna lie. I did a banging job with this tea. I'm a cook, basically. What you do is you put tea, you put a slice of lemon, and then a bit of honey. Oh la la. Hell yeah. So, where was I? Even playing ground, playing field, everything degraded after 2019. Everything got kind of washy, right? 2023, the launchpad was still allowed. And then mainly Rage in that year, yeah, kinda figured out how to completely crack the loop and the launchpad. Which let, I'm assuming, right, Swiss Beatbox realized, like, oh shit, we cannot allow this device anymore. And to me, I think that's fully fair. Because, first of all, in my eyes, and some people will argue with me on this and disagree, the launchpad is a second device. Physically, literally, it's a second device, right? I know it doesn't have any signal, like any sounds on it. It's all still the loop sounds, but it still takes away from that aspect I was talking about. An even playing field. I need to stop saying playing ground, because every time I say playground, I think, you know what I mean? So, playing field, an even playing field. The launchpad took away from that. And I know I'm quote unquote complaining about this, and then I still won GBB. So if I still won GBB winning against a launchpad user, then should the launchpad really be banned? Because if you can still win, if Biscuits can still win against people like Frosty and all the other second devices, if Enemy can still win against Inky, right? This type of stuff. But again, that doesn't matter. It's still, for me, about the even playing field. Football, you have 2 goals, 1 soccer ball, and then a lot of players with their ability to train their skills. It's not like one team has a fucking jetpack, right? Fucking imagine jetpack joyrides, but like Messi versus Ronaldo type shit, right? And Ronaldo's just flying around with a jetpack and he's kicking the ball. And bro, hey, if someone's super into AI, make this, please. Ronaldo jetpack versus Messi. I can see it happening. Do you guys know the video of Ronaldo like popping out of a lion? It's so whack. AI. That's a whole different topic for another day, I think. There's a lot of split views on this, even in myself. There's a lot of weird shit. Whatever. Ronaldo, jetpack, even playing field. We're still on the even playing field, right? Are you still with me? My point is, it's supposed to be an even playing field. Ta-da! No jetpacks, no Ronaldo's popping out of lion costumes in the savannah jungle while you're on a trip in the jeep that the tour guide is taking you on, right? No jetpacks, no second devices. But then, another somewhat controversial topic. The cables and the MK2 itself, right? What is the limit anymore? What is the limit of what should even be allowed on the MK2, right? There's been some talks about, or like questions rather. I answered this briefly in I answered this briefly in episode 1 as well. Someone asked, Do you think the MK2 and MK1 loops should be split into categories? I think this could be very interesting to bring organicness back to looping, right? Because on the MK1, there's still some bullshit in the device that you can kind of abuse, but way less than the MK2, right? So I think it could be a very nice change of pace to maybe not split it up. I mean, no, there's no other way to do it, right? There's no other way to do it. Unless on the MK2, you tell your participants, like, okay, you can't use these effects on the MK2. You can only use an EQ, you can use reverb, you can use dynamics. You know, no automation, no sequencers, no whatever. This type of stuff would not be allowed. But that's difficult to set in place, right? Who's gonna cheat? Who's actually gonna use a sustainer? Who's, you know, it's weird to monitor. But I think it could be very interesting to have an MK1 old school type competition again, because it will set such a clear boundary of who actually is a looper still, who is still looping, and who actually wants to loop still. I think of the top technical loopers, right? Quote unquote loopers. At some stuff I can't look at it as looping anymore, right? Maybe that's just me, but whatever, it's my opinion. I look at Rage, and when I hear Rage's stuff, first of all, I love most of the guy's stuff, right? Some of it is so disgusting, and I question everything that's happening. I'm like, whoa, you probably put a shit ton of time into piecing this together and mixing this. But I keep wondering, what can you do without it? I mean, wow, that sounds very mean, and that's not how I mean it. It's a genuine curiosity, right? When I saw Rage's stuff in 2024 with the Launchpad, I kept wondering, what could you do with the MK2 alone, right? I genuinely just wondered what he would be able to cook up. And I think this still, now, because even without the Launchpad, he's still very, very technical and automated and everything. So I keep wondering, if you were to loop, what would you loop? What would you do, right? I mentioned Rage as an example, but a lot of other loopers nowadays are the same in my mind, right? What would Mahiro do? What would Bannon do? What would... I mean, 50% of the wildcards were automated things, so I keep wondering, what would all of you do? Because a lot of it... And before I get called out to be a hypocrite or anything, I am aware that some of the stuff that I have done on the MK2 isn't necessarily as old school looping as I keep talking about. But that doesn't mean I can't have a different appreciation for it, right? And that's also what I tried to do, or like what I tried to show more in 2025 when I did the old school looping against DICE. It was because I genuinely admire this type of looping still, and I wanted to do something like it, right? Reality Check is still quite produced, but it's definitely still one of my most organic tracks. You know, it has a bit of everything of new school looping. Okay, here we go again. Wow. So, I don't want to hear it. That's what I want to say. I don't want to hear it. I just keep wondering, right? What would some of these loopers do if MK2, let's say, next year, after 2026, GBB, Swiss Beatbox makes a decision, which will never happen because that would destroy a lot of community. MK2 is banned. Wow. I just got like goosebumps in my mind. Imagine. We are banning the MK2 Loopstation starting next year. RC202 only is allowed. Oh, imagine. That would be so interesting. But yeah, it's a weird topic. And that's to come back to come full circle a little bit. To come back to the comment I read earlier today of me, quote unquote, glazing Tionep and questioning all the other loopers. I think Tionep is a great example because his type of looping, yeah, let's start the glaze again, whatever. I'm ready for comments or whatever you want to think. Tioneb proved that real looping is still there, is still alive. That's also why I liked Taro's Wildcard so much. Yes, it was produced, but it still felt really organic to me. It still felt recently more like old school looping. Again, old school, quote unquote, old school because it's still produced. There's still some automation happening with the melodies, but it's felt so nicely flowing compared to all of the other wildcards, right? A lot of the wildcards had the same build-ups and the same structures, which becomes very apparent, right? After judging so many wildcards, and I'm not even talking about GBB. I'm talking about the last 2 years. I've judged a lot of wildcards, and I keep seeing new trends and new things that everyone's just learning off of each other without changing it. The same snares, the same build-ups, the same sound designs, a lot of the same everything, which gets frustrating for me, because Loopstation is one of my, well, it's one of my passions, obviously. I got really good in it in my own field, right? I found my own style of performance and looping and everything. So I'm passionate about it. So when I see a lot of the things that are happening in the loop scene, I kind of get not demotivated, but a bit sad about it, right? Because I have such a clear vision of it, then everything's just moving so different. Hey man, maybe I'm just getting fucking old, yeah. Maybe I'm just getting older, and maybe I'm like turning into a boomer complaining about, this new piece of technology, it should be banned. maybe that's what's happening right now, honestly. Whatever, I still want to talk about it. Yeah, but like I was saying, to come back to the comment me glazing, Tiona, blah, blah, blah. I've been super active, like hyper active in the loops, in not even loop, in the beatbox scene, but that includes the loop scene more, right? I've been super active for like 6 to 7 years. Day in, day out, I was watching beatbox content and new looping videos, and then I started participating in so many competitions, right? Online at first and then live. I've seen so many types of beatbox. I've seen so many types of Loopstation. I've seen just so much of what I'm judging right now that I kind of got desensitized to it in a certain way, right? So sometimes I'll see people react to one of my videos or comment in my live streams, and I'll see them be like, "Oh, Yasweed, how are you not reacting to this? How are you not going crazy over this? How are you not? Why are you so critical of electronical looping? Why are you stuff like this?" Yeah, and you do have to realize I've been doing this, like, even non-professionally. I've been doing this passion, beatboxing in general, for quite a while now. Like, again, day in, day out. So when someone like me has been super active in the last 2 years, seeing everything evolve / devolve / escalate, it some of it does get kind of frustrating to me, where I'm like, okay, this again, right? Even if it's small things, but I start noticing them. When you become really active, really passionate, really good in your own field, you start noticing things. You start getting better in slight things. It doesn't even have to be negative, but let's say I produce music for like a year. Chances are, compared to day 1 and day 365 at the end of the year, I'll have made tremendous progress. At the end of the year, I'll probably be able to look at my older tracks and be like, wow, this hi-hat needs some work. This bass mix is super bad. What did I do there? Right? You become critical. You become more skeptical of everything. I think that's fair to say. I think that's a bit logical, and that's what I'm experiencing right now in a lot of looping. Some of it I just genuinely can't enjoy anymore. I can't keep an open mind either, because with how things are moving right now, it's different. It's different. Maybe I'm the boomer. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe I'm being too skeptical and not open-minded enough. But I don't think that's the case, because over these last years, I have been very open-minded. I have been like, okay, second devices, whatever. Do your thing. We'll see where it goes. I don't agree with it, but, it's a thing. That's why I value TeoNeb now. That's why I value Dr. Slow Sweat. Right? Because they do things completely differently. That's why I put him in my top 5. Right? I know there's differing opinions on my list, which I understand. Even before sending in my list, I was like, yeah, I thought about it, right? It's not like I didn't think about it. I was there for days. I was there for hours, rewatching, thinking, reviewing the scores. And let's forget TeoNeb for a bit, some of Ashwin's looping, Dr. Slow Sweat's looping, right, is just, for me, it's undeniable. Some of what he's doing. When you judge, and I'm grateful, by the way, that it was only 50 wildcards, because this already took quite a while. Thank God for the prejudging. When you watch so many wildcards, where a lot of them sound the same, where the same tricks are being used, where I hear other loopers in the sound design, where I hear, just not the looper that I'm looking at. This was the case for a lot of loopers, right? So when I look at Dr. Slow Sweat's wildcard, for example, I can't deny his musicality. I can't deny his originality. I can't deny his performance. I can't deny his creative drum building in the beginning. Because for me, especially in this wildcard competition, that's the only wildcard like this that I saw. Right? And if we take Rage and Mahiro, for instance, in the equation, their stuff was also undeniable. But when I look at all of the other wildcards, I do have to question originality. And we can argue they are part of the originators of most of what's happening. But I still look at the GBB wildcard selection as a whole. Right? So, if you're the originator or not, a lot of wildcards had the same structure, the same sound designs. The same structure and the same sound designs. So I do have to re-evaluate wildcards like MH even. And his was also very original. That's why I scored him as high as I did, right? MH, Mahiro, Rage, Mars as well. Mars was super dope. But again, like I have been saying, a lot of wildcards followed the same stuff. Which I don't value at all. As you can see by my ranking, I truly value looping. I value a lot of organicness. Right? That kind of explains my my top 5 in a way, right? Same with Nils. Nils had such a piece that I can't compare to literally anyone else. Same with Sora. Okay, let me slow down. When I went to review the wildcards of GBB, when I went to review the wildcards, I knew from the top of my head there were a couple of wildcards that I had in my top 10 that I had to put next to each other. For me, that was Sora and MH, because for me they had a very similar structure, in a way similar style. Not really, but you get what I mean, right? Very melodic, ambient build-up to then a heavier drop. And then I had to compare. Then I had to wonder which one is more solid, which one is more complete. For me, that was Sora, for multiple reasons. Maybe I can talk about it later, but then there was, for me, Rage and Mars, right? That I had to put next to each other because they had a very similar sound palette and very similar style. my hero could be fit into there, but he was still a bit different from them, in my opinion. So yeah, for me, it was Rage and Mars that I had to put next to each other and just kind of compare. For instance, Rage has that downtime after his first drop where not a lot of it's happening, not a lot of performance, it's not engaging anymore. And Mars had that as well. So I wanted to compare the two. Mars was, from what I remember now, significantly longer than Rage's. So for me, that's also already a plus point in Rage's way, right? Yeah, that's just a small example of that. But yeah, I compared a lot of the wildcards. Not a lot, a couple that really mattered to me there, right? I compared. Where was I going with this? A lot of wildcards sound the same. A lot of wildcards follow the same structure. There's not a lot of originality, and that gets tiring. You know, it just gets very, very tiring after so many hours of judging. Again, that's why I value Tune Up so much. That's why I value Dr. Slow Sweat so much, and Taro, and then a little bit less, but still, Nils and Saro fit. Sora. I made this mistake recently as well. Sora, that's funny. But yeah, I truly value this. Performance, entertainment, and those are not the head aspects, of course, because, well, if your track sucks ass, your track sucks ass. If it's not listenable, like if I don't want to come back to it, that's a very bad sign. Even if your performance was amazing, right, or engaging, but for me, that's a very important bonus category. Like, we had to score on bonus points in this GBB wildcard selection, but if I was judging a battle, this bonus point thing in performance and battle and engagement might be pushed up to like 20 or 30 points, you know, to give a bit of a reference point. So yeah, this is just very important for me. Yeah. Did I say what I wanted to say about this? Pretty much. It's just, there's a lot of desensitization, a new word unlocked, going on for me, where I can't be, I don't feel certain things anymore about certain tracks. Even if the tracks are objectively okay, then I think about the competition aspect and the wildcard, and then it kind of loses me immediately. Like, okay, here we go again with this, and with this, and with this, and here's the structure again, here's the sound design again, and okay, you're just blatantly copying this guy. And the reason why this is even more amplified of a feeling for me is because we are competing for the biggest competition in our category in the world, right? The biggest competition in Loopstation in the world. And then I see a lot of the shit that's happening, and it makes me sad, right? It's like, I question everything. Like, okay, what are we doing here? You know, what are we doing here? That's why I value a lot of organicness. That's why I value a lot of the battles from the past, where they obviously show you can make incredible music and incredible battle performances without all the bullshit that's going on nowadays. And again, I'm not innocent of this, right? I've utilized a lot of bullshit to do my flexing performance. I used slicers to make the drop go automatically on my flexing, right? My excuse is then it's to push my performance, right? Which, I mean, it literally was, but I still use it, so I can't go fully against it. I think I explained this in the last episode as well already, how I don't try to think too much anymore about the and the that I'm doing in the loop anymore, right? For me, it's the end piece and the creativity that I try to push into it to amplify my performance somehow, or engagement, or jokes, or battle aspect, or judge disses. I don't know, just anything, right? Yeah. Again, I'll keep clarifying myself. I'm not trying to take away from the technical loopers nowadays. They are making stuff that I probably won't be able to make on the loop ever. First of all, because I don't want to. because then I'll just go produce, right? That's my opinion on it. I'll just produce produced sounding tracks, or like try to at least and get better at it. Yeah, I don't want to, and it's a different kind of work that I'm not ready for. That's why I'm not trying to take away from it. I am very aware that, for instance, a lot of Rage's tracks from GBB24 are very complex, and he needed to spend hours inputting everything and puzzling everything together. But yeah, that's, as I say it, that's another valid point. That's what he did, right? He was there for hours puzzling it together, and maybe used a DAW to help and you with the sound design, and then convert it on the loop. Probably, right? That's how it feels sometimes. That's not something I want to do. Looping is something different for me. And ever since GBB25, I am trying to delve a bit deeper into the more organic looping that I talk so much about. Because I have been electronically looping for so long, I do want to start doing some more stuff like I did, like all from the mouth. Like, I want to start doing more stuff like this. Stuff like Apples did in the Playground Championships, for example, right? I want to start doing more looping like this because, first of all, it seems so much more fun and engaging than having to... I'm referencing my own tracks right now. There's some tracks that I just never want to perform again because they're such a pain in the ass. Like, oh, okay, and now I need to press this assign, and now I need to be standing still for 3 seconds until I can then do another assign that switches my voice effects, so I can then switch another bank to, you know, it's okay sometimes, but for me it got very annoying. Because this also meant that I had to relearn my tracks afterwards. Let's say I do textures at GBB24, and then I don't do it for a month or two. Shit. I'm going to have to look at the assign menus again to see what assigns I needed to use. I'm going to need to rewatch my battle and my wildcard just so I can perform this track again, right? It's annoying. And with something like All From The Mouth, the beatboxing track I did against Dice, just to clarify, it's way less like this because I know, okay, now I just do... You know what I mean? It's so free. It's so enjoyable to do. I don't need to think too much while I can still deliver arguably a better experience than some of my produced tracks. Like a better experience, a better original experience, performance, and engagement with the crowd, with the judges, with my opponents. Compared to having to do a lot of looping stuff, right? Looking at the loop and... Oh, I need to press this button, and then you look up for 1 second, and then you're like, oh shit, go back to the loop. Oh no, this is... And it doesn't have to be that difficult, right? Your produced tracks or your electronic songs, whatever, it doesn't have to be that difficult, but for a lot of tracks that I pulled off, I did have a lot of stuff like this, where I had to be very conscious, right? And again, with something like All From The Mouth, it's just not as present. I don't have to be super into it. Yeah, I have to beatbox on time, but that's it. And then we do a little crowd interaction. We have a lot of fun, right? I have a lot of fun. That's a very important part. Like, you should be having fun on stage. And if your track somehow detracts from your fun on stage, that's not always a positive thing, right? Sometimes I'll see loopers on stage, and also beatboxers, but yeah, mostly beginner beatboxers. But I'll see a lot of loopers on stage, and I will question, like, their fun levels. Like, are you guys having fun as well? Because imagine you're a judge. Bah, ta-da, I'm a judge. You don't even have to imagine. Just imagine. You don't even have to imagine, comma, just imagine. So you do have to imagine. Imagine you're a judge in a competition, and you're looking at the performer on stage, and he just keeps looking at his device. He doesn't say anything to us. He looks at his device, he's pressing a lot of buttons, and drops are hitting, but he's not performing it. He's looking nervous. He's looking maybe even a bit down because he's not able to express himself properly yet, right? This will affect the crowd. This will affect the judges. I want to see you have fun on stage, at least, right? I was going to bring up examples. I think of, for instance, Leonard, right? He's always having fun on stage, and that's an immediate plus. You see him having fun, and then somewhere, unconsciously, you're going to want to have fun as well. Even if you don't 100% vibe with his music, there's going to be a subconscious part of you that's like, oh, he's having fun. Maybe I should be having fun. And then you look around and other people, they also seem to be having... You know, it's a bit of a chain reaction. That's why I value... That's another reason why I value performance so much. Performance and maybe a joke. Even if you're not into jokes, maybe you can do a little rap and look us dead in the eye while you convincingly do your rap. Or you're singing if you like singing or whatever, you know? That's why I value performance, engagement, looking at us, give us a smile. Let me know if you want to be on stage or not, right? And yeah, a lot of looping nowadays misses that a bit, which is a shame. And I say looping, but I think that's a case in a lot of stuff, like maybe even solo beatbox, right? In GBB, I can't really think of an example, but there's plenty of beatboxers who have lost a battle because they're standing on the edge of the stage the whole time. They don't move. They're like this, cupping the mic in the corner of the stage. No one's looking at the one beatboxing anymore, but they're looking at the other guy who isn't beatboxing, right? Because there's a lack of engagement, and then maybe his beats were super solid, but yeah, then he just loses because, well, you didn't have anyone with you. And your beats fell, even if they might have been good, they fell kind of flat because there wasn't any motivation behind it, right? Performance is very important, and I will keep stressing how much I value it, right? So, when I watch the loops this year, in the crowd, I hope to see a lot of cool stuff, right? Just, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said before, the reason I can speak so much on this, the reason I can sometimes come over as a little bit hateful, maybe, because there's a lot of people out there who perceive what I'm saying as genuine hate, which is just, I mean, it's ignorant, right? I've stopped caring about it. People can think whatever they want. I'm not even trying to defend myself anymore. I'm just saying, like, a lot of it gets perceived as hate, but I'm just passionately talking about what I'm passionate about, right? I don't hate any loopers. I don't hate some of their music, you know what I mean? I said this fucking last stream as well, like last podcast episode. I don't hate anything or anyone, right? It's a very strong word. And I advise you to think carefully before you use those words, right? So, honestly, I think we're almost done with this episode. I kind of wanted to talk about it because I thought of it today. Second Devices, evolution of it a bit, the way things are going, the way I feel about it, right? Launchpads. One topic I didn't touch on yet are, I guess, the cables, right? It's something way less extreme than the Launchpad or a second device, but I do still feel a bit icky with it because, and let me get back to my base point, it's not an even playing field anymore. I know we're all on the same effects, but it's still a little bit different, but it's just not as extreme as some of the other things. So, you know? And yeah, to then bring the example of me winning, Biscuit winning, Enemy getting to the final, and Rhythmind winning without a second device. Martin Binati last year as well. No cables. Yeah, that's it, because Launchpad wasn't there, but no cables, right? So every year of Loopstation battle in GBB, it just proves itself once again. Like again and again and again, it keeps proving that organicness and performance just remains on top. It's so undeniable. Like literally, historically accurate facts are the loopers prevail. Right? The organicness of everything prevails. We win. Right? So for next year, I'm very I say next year, but it's already this year. I'm very curious how things are gonna play out. It's so interesting to me. It's so interesting to me how it always plays out the same way, or like the same way ish, right? It makes people again subconsciously feel like the past. I feel like this is just like me getting spiritual and thinking about it, but it might make us feel like we're going back into the past a little bit, right? For instance, again, let's use last year's example. Martin Benatti is very organic, right? He uses a lot of the MK2 aspects, but what sets him apart so much from a lot of others is his voice. And that's why, again, it kind of ties in with the performance and the jokes and the rapping. It's become so important in looping to hear the looper's voice, right? It can be auto-tune, it can be reverbed, it can be whatever. But if you have your voice in your track, this already gives it like so much more character. Some loops nowadays can be performed by everyone. I don't give a fuck. Some of them can be performed by anyone. Hey, can I have your presets? Yeah, sure. Bam. You can do your friend's track. And then you have to question like, okay, what can I do to set myself apart from most of this? It's your voice. It's weird that I haven't talked about this a lot before. I mean, I have, but not as much as I keep thinking to myself, right? Your voice is so important nowadays. Again, it leads me to realize how small our community actually is, because I keep having to reference the same people over and over again. It's like beatbox is already super niche, and then you have Loopstation, which is not even half. It's like 1/4 of the niche. You know what I mean? Rage is the one I want to bring up again. Something I missed so much in his 2024 performances was his voice. In like, what, maybe 3 or 4 of his tracks, there's zero voice. Which is crazy to say. We're in a looping battle, right? And there was a lot of debate about me versus Rage. A lot of people thought I should have lost. A lot of people thought I should have won. It was very split still. Right? Same as the judge panel. It was a 3-2 split decision. What did I want to say with this? Just the voice. That's what I want to say. That's probably why I won. I mean, probably that is why I won, according to the judges. It was my voice that was able to set things apart in that battle. Because, I'll be very honest, there's a lot of aspects about textures and my Hive Mind track, my techno track in the beginning, that a lot of people could do. But what sets this apart? Again, my voice, right? I looked at it yesterday again, it was a bit of a dickhead move, but when I said, hey everyone, do you remember me from yesterday? Whatever. Poor Josh. This has become such a staple in that round, right? Like, forget the techno of it. It's like me talking over it and making a connection with other people was one of the most important aspects of that round as well, right? Me, super cringe to some people maybe, and super irrelevant maybe, but me making the anime reference at the end, saying "Date kimi yo aimo," especially in a Japanese crowd, it was such an important move. You can hear the whole crowd yelling, which immediately lifts the spirits, right? Because of my voice. The track was really nice. I really enjoyed my own track. Ta-da! I like my own tracks. Tracks. But yeah, my voice is what sets it apart. Let's take one of Rage's most most popular tracks. His like fat ass drum and bass. He walks to the front of the stage and then he says a quote. And this is really, what's the word? It's just very Rage. You hear the Indian language, and every time you hear that, his voice, you're like, okay, that's Rage, right? And when you hear his tracks as well, sure, but a lot of people could perform his tracks. Same with some of my tracks, by the way. I'm not trying to avoid that. I'm just saying, if Rage used more voice in his tracks, it could be set apart more. Bannon is a good example, to be honest. He uses his voice a lot, even though it might come over as some other artists or not completely his style yet. He is still using quite a bit of voice, which still sets him apart from some other electronic loopers, right? Yeah, that's it. Voice is so important. And the way you can manipulate your voice in so many creative different ways can make for so many different creative approaches to a battle, right? So when it comes to a point of manipulating your voice to a level of you can't even recognize voice anymore, it becomes difficult to connect to, or like more difficult to connect to. Sure, the build-ups might be cool, the drops might hit really hard, you can feel the bass, whatever type shit, it drops hard. But sometimes, and that's what I have personally, that's why I'm referencing it, I fail to connect sometimes with Mahiro's music, especially in a GBB setting. I fail to connect. I fail to connect with some of Rage's stuff as well because of this. There's like that one element, one or two elements that's missing that would make me connect with it more and make me more English, man. I need to improve. Like wants to make me more like vote more towards that side. You know, there's always that one element that I miss. Maybe it's voice, or maybe there is voice, but I miss a lot of engagement with the opponent, maybe, or battle tactics, or yeah. For instance, you can look at Martin Benatti as a very musical looper, and he has full songs, and that's very true. But he also battled very smartly. He had his own style of battling, which I can't always get into immediately, but him like singing in his style about Mahiro's cables sets his track apart immediately. It's funny, it's not too heavy on the crowd, like it's not super negative. If anything, it's very positive, and it's low-key a diss towards Mahiro, right? So everything works there. Man, I'm giving so many examples and I'm talking about it so much just to say, use your voice in your loops. Especially if you want to progress as a looper, as a Loopstation artist, and you want to do more battles and you want to connect with the crowd, do that, man. Like, do that. Give everyone a reason to be remembered. Like, maybe you can be indeed an innovator in a special technique, but I find voice so important. And you can argue, man, you can argue about anything. And that's why I want to get people on this podcast, man. That's why I want to get people on this podcast, because there's so much to, I feel, argue about and discuss and maybe come to equal grounds on some topics, right? It's going to be so interesting. I'm definitely doing it. Like, we're already on episode 2. I'm surprised. I'm glad I didn't give up after episode 1. Yeah, man. I'm so excited for that. But yeah, use your voice. If you want to use Loopstation as a gateway into producing, why not? But if you're gonna compete in more battles, be it online or live, if you want to do showcases with your Loopstation, please use your voice. Make it recognizable. Make it entertaining, right? Even if it's not my style of entertainment, like full full retard mode and jokes and ooh, whatever shit, or dissing the judges, even if it's not that kind of entertainment or performance, find your own way of doing that, right? Find a way to connect. Use your voice. Easy, right? Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Yeah, maybe it takes years to find your own style of performing. Like, not even voice. Let's say you want to perform a certain way. It might only come in a couple of years, the way you really feel, the way you really want to perform, the way you're performing in your bedroom to come out on stage, you know, this type of stuff. Same with your voice. It might take a couple of years. Or not. You know, it might take way less time, but yeah, it's depending on you. But yeah, there's just so much possibility in what we're doing, in the tool that we're using. There's so much creative possibility. There's so many ways to manipulate your voice, right? And that's why I'm so against the cable and launchpad stuff nowadays, because you do a snare, you do white noise, do a hi-hat, and then maybe a special sound. And that is the extent of your voice. Do you know what I mean? That is literally the extent. Some people will not even use their voice anymore after that, which is a shame. Because there's still so many ways you can input creative things with your voice and manipulate your voice and input it and loop it live during your track or at the end of it to keep it engaging, to make the track more organic, right? If that's really not the looping style you want to go for, hey man, who am I to tell you what to do? But I'm just telling you, if you're battling, if you're making a wildcard, please consider it. Please consider using your voice more, making, even if you have like a very technical electronic piece that you use the same build-up for, find a way to make it more engaging. Find a way to use it more, use your voice more later on, right? I heard an argument recently. Apparently, when you use cables and you have your sound design, it's very difficult to switch to a vocal preset again. I'm not sure I fully understand that, but that's an excuse. I don't care. I do not care. Find a way. Find a way. We're all in the same competition. We're all in the same... Like, we're all the same humans, right? We're all trying to connect to your piece when watching it. And if that's not a possibility, then that's very unfortunate. Still, find a way. Find a way. I hope to see it from cable/launchpad users someday. Or soon, at least, right? Maybe we'll see some interesting stuff at the next GBB. Because what? My Hero made it in, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious what he's going to do this year. Right? Maybe he's going to do the same shit as he did last year. Maybe he's going to bring a different style. Maybe he will have more voice, more battle. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm very curious. It always makes me excited, you know. It's a double one for me. It always makes me excited to see the next big competition. But to then see a lot of the same stuff just happening year after year, it makes me disappointed. But yeah, who am I to define someone's creative process, right? Who am I to tell you to battle in a Loopstation battle? That's just me. Little old me making a silly statement. Yeah, whatever, man. That's just my opinion on it, right? My lips are incredibly dry today. Incredibly dry. There's no point in announcing it, right? I'm still getting used to this. You know what? You know what? That's a lie. I think I'm used to it. After last episode, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. That's my daily business, you know? I talk to myself 24/7. That's a bit of a crazy cuckoo thing to say, no? Please don't put me in an asylum. I promise I was just practicing for my podcast. I haven't been talking to myself from the moment of birth. What am I even yapping about anymore? That were the topics of today, I think. Second devices, cables, the way I see looping right now, the way I have seen it progress over the years, the way I feel about it. Future of looping a little bit, right? Yeah. Short, but sweet episode. Never mind. Short but sweet, my ass. I just looked at the time. We've been here for an hour. I can't believe it. Hey, man, thank you so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe to the channel. Check the first one if you haven't already. Subscribe to my main channel. All the necessary links for you will be in the description. Some very interesting stuff. I hope to see you in a future episode of this. Hopefully with someone else. Right? Maybe in my big high sky apartment lounge, Yasui's lounge in New York, like I mentioned. Let's make it happen someday. If someone can help me with that, it would be super amazing. And I'll see you in the next episode of the Yasui Lounge Playground Textures for Gothic Kick podcast.